Yo, what is popping, guys? What is up? We are back on Pokemon Showdown today for IDM Week 1. You probably have seen my draft recap for this league. It's run by my boy Zamcro, and it has some solid opponents for sure. And yeah, we are here with Week 1 with our very broken Mega Slowbro Magina Zygarde squad. I don't know how I was able to draft it, but it's definitely one of the most fun squads I've ever drafted for sure. Definitely looks like tons of fun and really hard to prep for. So I'm pretty hyped for this. But we have a big challenge ahead of us in week one. We're facing imPledge and his Shamrock Snovers. I don't really know the guy, but yeah, he has drafted a very solid team and he played this game really well. So you're in for a fun one for sure. Um, in addition to the six he also has a Hooper Unbound, which he didn't bring, which I'm pretty happy about because Super Unbound is like a nuisance to deal with. Can always get a kill or two if played correctly, especially versus a slower and more bulky squad like mine. So I had to prep really well for this matchup, and I think I did. My opponent here, like SC, brings the Mana Fee, which is a big threat. Obviously, you always have to over prep for it. Kinda, he has the Arcanine, which I figured would come because it checks the Magiana fairly well, as well as like other special attackers, and it can like offer some intimidate support. There's stuff like Crocodile, Zygarde, Cobalion, which I have, and others, obviously. Like so, definitely a solid mon. Swallow, I wasn't sure if that was coming, but I don't have too many checks to it. Like I have the Stunfisk that can take a hit or two from specs or physically offensive Swallow, and like basically Magiana is my only switch in. Same with like same as it's the only switch in for a +3 mana fee and the specs Tapu Koko, so I have an AV Magiana for that. But if he is specs, which I expect him to be, it's I definitely gotta keep my Magiana healthy and play around that. He brings the Piloswine, which makes sense. Stops my Zapdos potentially. It's very solid for to take hits that hit Manaphy super effectively, mostly electric types, because my grass type can't really handle Manaphy too well, which is like Delmice, and Delmice is not the best Manaphy counter in the world, even though it gets the job done, but it like just loses to too much on my opponent's team that I couldn't bring it. Brings a Tapu Koko, which I expected. Very threatening, more nice pivot. Offensively, it can like shut down some of my stuff with taunts potentially. It's like taunt roost and then like dual stab or so. Can be pretty annoying to deal with. And he brings the Salamence, which I wasn't sure what it was. I didn't think it would be Dragon Dance because it's not a Z user and it's not like Dragon Dance can actually do anything to my team because I have his Mega Slowbro and Mega Slowbro takes is not even 2 KO by +1 outrage after rock. So yeah, that's like not the way to go. I think it was more for special Salamence. When I saw it, I expected special Salamence that can drop Dracos or Fire Blast. A few specs that like could be annoying, but obviously like Licky Licky always switches in on special mans and gotta you just gotta play around it and like have something that can take a Draco, recover up on the second, and then like go from there. So looking at my opponent's squad, Zapdos looks really nice. Let's go over my team first. I think I bring physically defensive Slowbro with Scald, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave, and Slack Off. Basically checks everything my opponent has besides the Swell Off, especially offensive, and the Coco. Yes, it can't really touch Manaphy, but if I get the Thunder Wave off, it's easy for me to revenge it potentially if it's a Tailgo set. It always switches into Arcanine, takes hits from Piloswine easily, takes hits from physical Salamence, can even take like a Life of Draco Meteor or anything, so that's kind of cool. Magira here, as I said, is AV with Aura Sphere, Dazzling Gleam, not Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, and Flare Cannon. Probably most of the time I'm clicking Volt Switch, trying to like get initiative on the Arcanine, but it's gonna be very tough to play with this Magina here. It's basically only there to check some stuff like the Swallow or the Manaphy, as well as the Coco, but it won't do too much of a job offensively, I figured. Zygarde is a very cool set that I figured will put in quite a lot, quite an amount of work. It's a substitute protect set with Toxic and 1000 Waves. It can basically trap the counters my opponent has for it, and Toxic them and like PP stall them with Sub Protect or like just Toxic stall them. until they switch out. Like it's very solid. If it can come in on Arcanine for free, I can like always get a sub up, keep it up versus the majority of my opponent's mons, unless he has like HPIs on Tapu Koko obviously, but and like obviously Boom Burst will go through sub, but I can keep up a sub on non HPIs Koko, on Arcanine, on non Ice Crash Piloswine, but I think he will have that, and even on special Salamence, because if he gets one drop with a Draco Meteor, depending on his investment, he can't break a sub anymore, so that's kind of cool. Zapdos, he has Modest Scarf this week with U-Turn, Defog, Thunderbolt, and HPIs. I don't really need anymore. I kind of figured Volt Switch would be nice over Defog, but I'm happy I had Defog on there because I was never clicking Volt Switch on the Piloswine. So yeah, U-Turn and Defog, solid choices here on this one. Crocodile basically is my check to Hooper. It has a Chople Berry, Knockoff, Earthquake, Pursuit, and Stealth Rock with the Intimidate. I'm very bulky Crocodile here, but I can do quite some work with this team, like just because it's able to knock off items, which is going to keep up rocks. I'm looking at my opponent's team. He doesn't have clear cut hazard removal, like he could be Defog Swallow, Defog Mance, but I didn't really expect it when I saw that. But he actually brings Defog Mance, so that's kind of sad. And I have a mixed defensive Licky Licky, I think, with Earthquake, Dragon Tail, Wish, and Protect. I wish I had Heal Bell over Dragon Tail on this Licky Licky, but I just couldn't justify bringing Heal Bell when my opponent has so many hazard options that I have to potentially Dragon Tail out to get some damage off before I can revenge them later in the game. So let's hop right into it. This was a very long end, so I won't remember everything that I went for this game, but yeah, it was a very good battle. So excuse me, I'm still kind of sick, but it was a very good game, and like it should be fun. So I decided to lead off with my Kruka here, my boy, and he decided to lead off with Coco. On this turn, like I contemplated switching into Magiana, but I figured he wasn't going for choice specs Dazzling Gleam here because that would potentially give Magiana some setup options on the next turn, and even then, like I could live a choice specs Dazzling Gleam depending on his if he's timid or not. It was a roll. Life of Dazzling Gleam, I take it all the time, so I decided to set up my Roxy predicting him to U-turn out, which is exactly what he does, and does 22%, so he's definitely invested in physical offense, I think. Definitely did some solid damage. Brings in the Salamence. I figured he was dropping a Draco potentially, or just like setting up. So I go into my Slowbro knowing that I can take any one hit, and then I could get the Regenerator back in case he wanted to drop a Draco. But he goes for Defog, which is kind of annoying, but we can live with that. I think I double out because I want to keep my Regenerator. Yes, I do. I'm going to my Magiana on a potential Draco after this, or also to cover a switch into Manaphy or back into Coco, obviously, so that works out for me. I think I go for the Volt Switch here. My opponent fires off a Thunderbolt, doesn't do anything, doesn't seem too heavily invested in special attack, which is nice. And I get some solid damage off with the Volt Switch. And now Licky Licky can come in. I decided to go for an Earthquake here, just in case he wants to potentially be like Calm Mindset, but Calm Mind U-turn doesn't really make sense. But obviously, like, as much damage as I get on Coco, the better, because once I get rid of Piloswine and Coco, or like weaken Coco, Scarf Zapdos really goes in, especially if I can somehow get rocks up, then Arcanine is guaranteed to hit KO, even if it's especially defensive variant. Mance goes down to an HPI, so obviously Swallow dies, Manaphy can take one T-Bolt potentially, but not two, so that's kind of cool. He gets HP back with the leftovers, that's why I expected him to be like potentially a more fatter variant. I go for the Earthquake, 51% of it. He taunts me, and obviously can't taunt Licky Licky because of Oblivious. I actually was Cloud9 Licky Licky before the match, but then I realized that Wish is not compatible with Cloud9, so I had to change it to Oblivious because Wish passing is really important. So Coco is at 34%, which is really high for me because this puts it guaranteed in range for my Modest Scarf Zappa depending on his investment. So that's pretty lit. I go for Wish now because I can like Wish pass into anything depending on what it goes into. Goes into Piloswine, I will decide to go into my Slowbro, predicting him to get up rocks, and if he like does attack me, I can like just get the Wish back obviously and fire off a Scald. We'll go for a Scald now, bringing him to go for a Toxic. I don't really mind the Toxic too much. Slowbro is never staying in for too many consecutive turns that I mind the Toxic, but like damage on the Pilot Swine is crucial because I want Zapdos to be able to sweep in the late game. I get an unfortunate burn on the Pilot Swine. Shouldn't matter too much in the end, but obviously it's kind of unfortunate because Pilot Swine still has a decent attack so with base 100 and could do some decent damage to Zygarde, potentially revenging it with the Ice Crash, as well as Crocodile and Zapdos. So unfortunate for my opponent, but yeah, that's what happens when you click Scald, obviously. Now I go for the Thunder Wave, predicting my opponent to go into Manaphy, which he actually does. That's kind of cool. Oh no, I didn't go for the T-Wave this turn. I did that later. But I go to my Zapper here, predicting him to, yeah, probably trying to catch the Manaphy as well. So I can't fire off a U-turn here, trying to keep momentum up as my opponent switches out. Even though I want to get rid of these rocks, I kind of want to see what his initial switch to the Zapper is. If Pilot Swine comes back in, I get chip on it with the burn and the U-turn damage, which is nice. Now I can go into my Bro and fire for T-Wave. I think that's the turn, obviously, where I get the T-Wave off on the Manaphy. Rocks and Toxic damage are kind of annoying right now because I don't have Regenerator anymore, but Big Buddy Bro obviously doesn't really care about this. Now I go back into my Blob here. I'm trying to Wish or Dragon Tail him out depending on if he wants to like wants to tail go up. He gets Para twice in a row, which is unfortunate. But obviously you will see it doesn't really matter because he was clicking Heal Bell anyway on this turn, and he actually gets the Heal Bell off now. So Manaphy is cured again. I get the Wish into my Zapper, which is good. I can bring Zapper in after Wishes from Licky Licky basically versus everything, because Zapper chews any one hit even after rocks, besides obviously a Specs Boom Burst. But yeah, that's cool. That's a way where that's a way how I can keep my Zapper healthy, which is cool. But now I want to defog these rocks away. I don't really like them. They shouldn't be on my side of the field. I like to win the hazard war instead of losing it. So I go for defog and then we'll decide to switch out. I haven't revealed my item yet, but the way that I like by me not clicking U-turn, it's kind of obvious that I'm Scarf, but yeah, he doesn't know for sure. I go into my Arcanine as my opponent fires off another Toxic, so had I gone to Slowbro here, that would have been huge for me. I could have recovered up and then switch around. On this turn, like, it's turn 16, nothing has died, nothing really has taken damage besides my Bro and his Pilot Swine. And like, right now, we both realize there's gonna be a long-ass game for sure, but yeah, nothing you can do. I will go for rocks again as my opponent switches back out into his Salamence. Unfortunate. But yeah, he will defog again. I will go, I think it's my Zapper. No, I go for knockoff here, true, yeah. I want to get rid of his item, I want to see what it is. And I get an unfought crit on Demand. It won't matter in the end because my opponent can go for the Roost on this turn. My Crocodile gets like one down pretty easily, but I still keep it alive. I can get a rock still later in the game on potentially the Arcanine, and then spam rocks until I die to Toxic. Yeah, I go for the U-turn on his after he roosted up. Had I gone for the HP Ice there, that would have been huge. Yes, it would have given Coco a free switch in, potentially allowed him to roost up or anything, but yeah, like getting rid of this Mance would mean that my rocks will be here to stay once I get them up on the Arcanine potentially. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, he makes a solid prediction there, thinking I wouldn't HP Ice and fires off a Draco. The play on his end pretty much made sense because all I revealed was Thunderbolt, U-turn, and I didn't even reveal Thunderbolt at this point. I think I revealed U-turn and defog, and then obviously I have to have Electric Stab. And then like I figured because I haven't revealed the Scarf, he was pretty inclined to think that I am not a Scarf Zapper because I have shown defog. But in case I was Scarf Zapper, it was a very risky play to stay in, but it was solely a prediction on his part that really worked out for him. I mentioned after a game he decided I was Scarf and tried to keep the momentum up. So I'm gonna give him credit there, very smart play. Get some damage off on my Licky Licky. That's fine with me. I can like just go for a Wish, get some health back. As yeah, my opponent goes back into Arcanine. He will try to Toxic my Licky Licky as well. Sadly, I don't have to heal that on the set, but I will pass this Wish into my Slowbro, I think. Get some health back, which is nice, and get straight up back to full and then take the Toxic damage. And Swallow comes in, which is fine. I can just like switch into my Magearna here. and it's my opponent U-turn, so now the momentum all shifts back to him, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Arcanine comes in, I will go back into my Crocodile here, I think, because I can't take a Fire Blast. Oh no, I go into my Slowbro. I thought I was going into Crook, but yeah, same thing. Slowbro comes in, I don't really have to go for the Scald here. I should have done this. Scald would have done like 60% or so, or 55% to especially defensive Arcanine. Would have done quite some damage. Yes, he would have been able to Morning Sun up and shit, but Scald would have like forced him to Morning Sun up, and then I could have like I could have had a free switch into my Zygarde, for example. I go into my Zapper, I see fires with another Fire Blast. That's quite some damage, but it's uninvested. Arcanine. Now I go for the Thunderbolt to try and see what kind of set he is, and he definitely is max specially defense. I only do 39. This is a modest T-Bolt, so that's pretty annoying. Arcanine seems to be really hard to break for me, and he gets a Toxic off on Zapper. Now I have to play my Zapper really carefully. Can't allow him to get rocks up again unless I can like Wish Pass with my Licky, and then like I have to keep my Zapper at this amount of health so that I like can potentially sweep in the late game. So like now Zapper is pretty much useless until I get it in the late game once I get rid of Piloswine and Arcanine to potentially get a late game sweep with it. So gotta be really careful with the Zapper now. And now I can switch out into my Zygarde, freaking into Morning Sun up, which is exactly what he does. So Zygarde is finally in. I can't set up a substitute for him to switch out. He shows Manaphy as his initial switch in as I expected looking at his team composition. Get up a sub, I can fire off a Toxic now. I don't want to reveal Protect now, I want to keep him guessing if I'm Dragon Dance or Coil. I missed the Toxic, which is unfortunate. Obviously he has shown Heal Bell, but I really want him to burn all his Heal Bells so I can potentially Toxic stall him out with my Zygarde. But now I'm forced to switch out. My opponent makes a very good play, goes for the U-turn, gets the momentum right back, and Arcanine comes back in. Yeah, things are looking bad for me. Crocodile has to come out here. My opponent misses a fire. Goes for Toxic again. Yeah, that's like good for me. I will set up my rocks here. As I think he misses a Fire Blast, or will he knock me out? No, he hits this. He misses one later in the game, which doesn't really matter too much, I think, but definitely came in handy for me. Crocodile goes down, but I have rocks up finally, which is good. I can set up another substitute and try to like stall out this Manaphy of Heal Bells. I go for Protect now to get health back. Keeping Zygarde healthy is crucial in this game. Like, if I like play this Zygarde correctly, can 1v1 everything on my opponent's team with a little luck potentially, and like with some solid predictions on my part. Go for a Toxic now, as I think my opponent goes for another Ice Beam to break the substitute. And now like this is becoming a pretty stally part of the game where I just try to stall him out a little of his Ice Beams and his Heal Bells. I still have like a lot of attacks left. I can go for the Protect now, then fire off 1,000 arrows. I think we just like skip to it. I hit him with 1,000 waves so he can't switch out. I go for Substitute on his Scald. He needs 2 Scalds to break my sub, which is cool. Has to Heal Bell again. I get health back, fire up another Toxic, and now let's go back to I gonna have another Toxic as he actually goes for the U-turn, knowing that knowing what I'm trying to do, like getting rid of Seal and shit like that. He also loses Piloswine now. I will attack this because 1,000 arrows is a guaranteed 2 chaos. He reveals the Ice Crash. Fine with me, I still get a lot of health back, and like we'll be at like 75% after this. And like now I hit him with the 1,000 waves 2 chaos. He misses an Ice Crash, which is huge. Like it's super unfortunate for him because Ice Crash guaranteed would have broken the sub. Obviously, it's no longer burned because of the Heal Bell, obviously. And yeah, like now Zygarde is looking way more threatening. I can go for another Protect here, seeing what this Sweller wants to do, and it goes for the Boom Burst that obviously goes through sub, and like my Zygarde is back at 88% after being down to like 44, which is pretty high. But go into make the safe play here, and this allows me to just freely Volt Switch out, I think, and get my Zygarde back in. Like it's now things are looking pretty much great for me again because like obviously I got all the momentum back, can set up another substitute with Zygarde. Arcanine cannot break this up with the Fire Blast, which is good. And my opponent goes into the Salamence, which is interesting. He probably wants to get rid of the rocks, but um, I'm able to get off a Toxic versus him, which is really solid. He goes for the Roost first, bringing me to maybe Protect, but I go for a Toxic to put this thing on a timer, which is nice. And now if I play my cards correctly, I can trap it with the 1000 Waves. I go for Protect now as he tries to defog. Doesn't work, obviously. I think I go for another Substitute on the next turn as he defogs again. Rocks are gone, but rocks are up on neither side, and I can live with that, obviously. And now I expect him to roost it because he's at 50%, and I will hit him with the 1000 Waves. 1000 Waves, sadly, unlike 1000 Arrows, doesn't hit flying type, so I had to wait for him to roost. And now he's trapped and he can't beat my Zygarde 1 versus 1, which is really, really hype. My Zygarde set really coming in clutch. I go for a Substitute here on his Draco Meteor, predicting that correctly. Can like now just go for the Protect as he basically is forced to attack again, because if we roost, like, Toxic damage will rack up, and now Salamence is gone, which is super hype. So I got rid of two monsters that stopped me from spamming electric type moves, but I still have to hit Arcanine for some damage. Obviously it's at like 63 at the moment, which isn't even in range for 1000 Waves because I'm uninvested offensively. But like now things are looking very, very solid for my Zapdos to potentially sweep in the late game. He goes back into Swallow. I can't Protect here. I take the Boom Burst because I want to get the Toxic off, put this thing on a timer. And like, yes, 58% from a modest specs Boom Burst are annoying, but I can get some health back with the Protect here. I'm like, being at 42% is a solid amount of health. Maybe I should have gone hard into Mag, but you know, I don't like wasting a good sub and shit. And yeah, like here my opponent makes a fantastic play, probably the best play of the game, and goes hard into Arcanine, predicting me to switch out behind the sub into my Megiana. Really, really smart play on his part. Catching the Megiana, he can potentially Morning Sun up because he can take any hit, or he can just go for a Fire Blast, trying to catch whatever I want to switch in. Really, really good play. Reading me like a book there, but I go for the Volt Switch here as my opponent misses the Fire Blast. Volt Switch is Fire Blast actually is like needs a max roller so to kill my AV Megiana from the range I was at. We talked it after the game. So like Volt Switch was a very free play, but had he gotten the roll here and knocked me out, I think he actually needed the highest roll possible to knock me out. So had he gotten that, he would have been out of range for 1000 Waves, which would have been fine. But now I can just fire off 1000 Waves because I can sub up on everything that wants to switch in, or Protect on everything that wants to switch in. And 1000 Waves knocks out the Arcanine, and now things are looking great. My Zapdos is now basically guaranteed to sweep this game. My opponent goes back into Manaphy, go for a sub, predicting him to potentially Heal Bell, which he does. So stalling him out of another Heal Bell, which is pretty solid for me. I can go for Protect now. Oh no, go for Toxic first as my opponent. I think he predicts the Protect maybe and goes for the Ute, and now he switches out, goes into a Swallow, which is okay. I can like just Protect. He's at 57. Doesn't really matter. I can go into my Megiana. I live 2 Boom Bursts from the range. He's at now. I can get the slow Volt Switch off. Megiana, thanks to the Fire Blast not hitting, is able to not only be a sack but to lift 2 Boom Bursts and get a Volt Switch out. But as you see, he makes up 40 Fire Blast miss with a crit. So basically, this Megiana is a sack and goes down. The most broken one in the format, finishing 0-1. But now Zapper can come in. I can fire off a Thunderbolt and clean up this game potentially, depending on his Manaphy set and his Coco investment. So Manaphy takes the damage. He switches out, identifying Swallows' win condition. So if Coco lifts this T-Bolt, he actually like wins the game potentially, unless he can't kill Licky with the Boom Burst. In which case I can like just wish protect, and stall him out of the Boom Burst potentially, because I think Boom Burst only has like 16 PP or so. But yeah, Coco is in, and from damage he went for earlier, I figured he was like speed creeping my fastest mon, and then invested in both special attack and physical offense. would make sense. I don't think he has any bulk on the set, and even if he has like 52 HP investment or so, this T-ball is guaranteed to kill because I'm modest, and I actually do knock out the Coco from this range, and this is the game. Swallow can't outspeed obviously because I am Choice Scarf, and yeah, Zapdos is able to clutch out this game with the nice late game sweep here. Yeah, this is gonna be GG. A very very good game. I figured. Even if, despite it being a very long battle, it basically was more of a like 40 turn battle because a lot of these turns were just me clicking substitute and protect, obviously, and toxic to get some health back. Pretty stally parts in the mid game, but definitely a very interesting squad. Zygarde really came in clutch with the set that I brought. And yeah, we started to 1-0 to this first season of the IDM against a very very solid opponent. And like he played his team perfectly. I figured there wasn't much he could do in the late game when I got all the momentum back with my Zygarde. Yes, he made some really nice switches um, on my Magearna into his Arcanine, but then lost all the momentum back because he missed the Fire Blast and shit like that. So there wasn't really much he could do. Hex definitely helped me out, but I figured I probably like could have won without the X anyway because Zephyr and Zygarde really pressured him a lot. Like whenever I got Zygarde in on Arcanine, it was either getting a kill or put me in a position where I can just like get a safe switch in on something or just like just stall out his heal bath and then like toxic stall everything on his team. Like, and as long as I played Zephyr and Zygarde and potentially Licky Licky correctly, I figured I had this game in the bag. But obviously Hex helped me out for sure, especially against the Pillow Swine. Getting rid of this before it could set up rocks on my Zygarde potentially, that was really helpful. Maybe I should have like valued rocks over what's called over Icicle crashing my Zygarde there, in which case Zapdos would not have been able to sweep the late game, but hindsight is always 2020, so yeah, we take the W. Very good game. I think my opponent brought a very smart team versus my squad, and he played very well. The like the switch into Arcanine was pretty hype versus my Zygarde behind the sub. That like really worked out for him. It was a very cool play on his part. But yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and comment if you did, obviously. And yeah, catch you in the next upload. See ya.